advantage of Lois Peacock of Hull and Joanne Ruzzano of Weymouth on Candlepin Doubles. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Leary. The squeeze is on for the champs now. They've been rolling right along 6 straight weeks. We reminded them last week that the record for the women here is 7 straight weeks. In fact, that's a record for any team, 7 weeks in a row, and that's what they're shooting for today. And it'll be up to Lois Peacock and Joanne Ruzzano to try to knock them off. The bonus money situation, $50 for 3 marks in a row, $1,000 for 3 strikes in a row. Our champs had a shot at that last week, but weren't able to pull it off. And, of course, $500 goes to the winners and $300 to the losers. And a 2-string total of $275, which we haven't been able to do for a while, would be worth an extra payoff of $200. So as the champs go for 7 in a row, let's see if they can do it. Mary Ligenza will kick it off for them. And for the challengers, it'll be Lois Peacock. Lois with a pretty decent shot at a spare to open up here. Lois is married with 3 children. She works for Boston Financial Data Services. And that's not to be expected. Mary Ligenza opens up with a 5. Mary is married with 2 children. Her husband, Steve, has been on the show a number of times. In fact, Steve Ligenza and Paul Romani last year teamed up for 4 consecutive wins. Nice shot. Mary Ligenza gets out of that with a 10, and Lois Peacock takes 9. So the challengers up by 11 in the second. Good bid. Lois now going for a spare. Lois has a high single of 165, a high triple of 439, and she carries a 110 average, and she's got her second mark. And Mary takes another 10. So the lead is 11 plus Lois Peacock's first bonus ball. There's a big hit. Only the 10-pin remains. Lois now on the spare with a big hit. And there's the spare. Mary Ligenza. Well, after that awful start with a 5, it's 10-10 spare for Mary Ligenza, and Lois misses her bid for a spare. And a 10. So 55 through 4 for the challengers and 35 plus this one for the champs, plus 7. So the spread is 13 pins now. It had been 20 only a box ago. And a spare. 2 in a row for Mary Ligenza. Oh, she got a little angry after the opening 5, huh? And Lois takes a spare. So we've seen some good bowling so far. 5 marks on the board in our first 10 frames here. And so at the halfway mark, let's check in. 65 plus a bonus ball for our challengers, Lois Peacock and Joanne Ruzzano. And for our champs, Sharon Rawson and Mary Ligenza, 52 plus a bonus ball. We'll be back to see how much they fill out on the spares and also with the second half of the opening string right after this. All right, here's the second half of the opening string now. Each bowler working on a mark. Sharon Rawson adds 7. 59 through 5. And Joanne Ruzzano adds 5. 70 through 5. Nice shot, but the 10 stays. Sharon with 10 and 69 through 6. And Joanne takes 10, 80 through 6. So the lead is 11 pins. Each team working on a pretty decent score here. Sharon with 3/4 of the diamond down here, and she's got it. Joanne Ruzzano now looking at the 4 horsemen. Joanne has a high single of 179, high triple of 432, and a 112 average. A 10, so 90 through 7. Sharon adds 7 to her spare, so it's 86 through 7. And the spread is just 4 pins now after being 20 in the 3rd frame. Nice spare. 2 in a row now for Sharon Rawson. Nice shot. Joanne takes 10 and even 100 through 8. Sharon Rawson now on the spare. All right, Sharon is after the 5 and 9 for 50. No. Well, there's a 10 box. 114 now for the champs. Sharon after just the 10 for spare. And a 9 in an opening string of 123. And but for a couple of little pins that just wouldn't go, it could have easily been up in the 140s. Joanne takes 7. She's not pleased with the fact that she opens up with 116. However, that leaves the challengers only 7 pins behind. That's all, so we're pretty close. In the opener, Sharon Rawson and Mary Ligenza with a 123, and Lois Peacock and Joanne Ruzzano 116. We'll be back with the second and deciding string right after this. All right, here we go with string number 2. The challengers in the person now of Lois Peacock, down by 7 pins. Lois opens with 7 and Mary takes 10, so the lead is now an even 10. Coming up next week, our challengers will be Kelly Arsenault of Maynard and Debbie Toby of Hudson. Lois takes a 9. 16 through 2. And Mary Ligenza with 9. So the lead is still 10. No change. Lois looking at just the 4-pin for a mark. And she's got it. A 9 and 28 through 3. Lois on the spare needs to catch up here, and that'll help with 8 more. Lois is trying to peek down lane 4 here to see just where the best spot would be to try to hit this. She's got some wood that should help. And she's got it. Nice shot. 2 marks in a row. And so the challengers now are about to take the lead. Mary with a 7 and 35. The challengers are at 44 plus how many? Plus 6. So the challengers now lead by 8 with 6 to go. Three in a row and $50 in bonus money. Well, Mary gets a nice 10 out of it, so 45 through 5. And the challengers are at 60 plus through 5, so it's up to Sharon Rawson to pull this thing out if the champs are going to do it again. They've won 2 consecutive weeks in this series, 6 consecutive weeks overall, dating back to the women's series of last year. Joanne Ruzzano is working on a mark here. And gets 5. So the lead with 5 to go is 13. The lead is 15 with 4 to go. So the champs in danger of losing for the first time in 7 weeks. All but the 7 pin. So we'll come down to the final 3 boxes. The champs still needing to make up at least 15 pins. There you see a 22 pin difference in this one, minus the 7 that the champs led after the first one, and we've got a 15 pin difference in favor of the challengers with 3 to go. Well, Sharon's going to have to match that. And she does. Pressure spare. Eight. Big fill. Sharon adds how many? 7. But with some bad luck as far as the leave goes. Got some wood that could help, though. Joanne Ruzzano goes first. Almost 2 in a row. Sharon Rawson has to hope that this wood will take this down. And it does! 2 in a row. The champ's still alive. Joanne takes 10, 113 now for the challengers, 90 plus for the champs. So the champs are down by 16, less however many Sharon Rawson gets on her first bonus ball. And Then it would just be a matter of marking in the 10th, while the challengers do not. So a mark here would pretty much wrap it up. And that's what Joanne Ruzzano will have to get to mark. Need a big hit. Has one. 98 through 9. So the difference is 8 pins. But that settles it. Unless we get a lob somewhere along the line. There's another mark. So Sharon Rawson and the champs have to hope for a big hit here and have to hope for a little punch out by the challengers. Well, that's the punch out. A strike here would do it. No, only 7. Only 7. Well, the champs got the punch out, but they didn't get the win. They could have tied it with a strike on the spare. So it came down to the final ball, and they fell just 3 pins shy, as it turned out. And I don't think Joanne Ruzzano, you could tell by her reaction there, realized that they had things pretty much in control. She thought she had lost it because of the punch out. Hardly the case. Let's take a look at the totals now. For our new champions, Lois Peacock and Joanne Ruzzano, a 125 after an opening 116, 241. Our ex-champions now, Sharon Rawson and Mary Ligenza at 238, a 3-pin victory. We'll be back with our new champs and our runners-up right after this. Well, for the first time in 7 weeks, we have to say goodbye to this couple here, Mary Ligenza and Sharon Rawson. We have at least $3,000 that was stuffed your pockets with. I suppose you can take that, huh?
Yes, anytime.
All right, we'll see you again.
I hope so.
All right, Sharon Rawson and Mary Ligenza, I'm sure they'll be back. Lois Peacock and Joanne Ruzzano. Nice bowling.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, they won 6 in a row. You going to top that?
Oh, I don't know. Yes.
All right. Well, you can start. All right. You can settle that next week. Lois Peacock and Joanne Ruzzano will be back. In the opposition next week will be Kelly Arsenault and Debbie Toby. So I hope you join us at that time. For everyone here at Fairway Sports World in Natick now, have a good afternoon.